This one goes out to my girls. I know you're out there, the ones who are kind of introverted, don't have a lot of friends, don't have a lot of family, are kind of doing the whole wedding planning thing on their own, because that's essentially what I've been doing, is doing all of the wedding stuff kind of on my own. You know, I have a lot of family and friends that would love to help and have offered to help, but most of them live far away and, you know, they have lives of their own. And yeah, I mean, I just don't have a lot of friends in general. It was honestly hard to think of people I wanted to invite to this thing, but I've always wanted like a nice wedding with my friends and family. I wish I had more friends, but I don't, so I invited all of my closest friends, closest family, and yeah, obviously my future husband's friends and family as well. So it's gonna be a good time, but man, it has been stressful, like more than I ever thought it would be.
Let's get started.
I guess I always kind of knew that I'd be doing the whole wedding thing on my own because I've never had like any long-term friends. I've been best friend hopping for a long time. You know, I've always been the like backup friend, if that makes sense, where if I'm in a group of 3 or 4 friends, or say, you know, if I'm in a group of 3 friends and we're all hanging out all the time, but we need to like partner up for a group project, they'll pick each other and leave me out. But if one of them's sick, like they'll still pick me, you know, that's the kind of situation I've always been in. So, and I just don't put up with lazy friendships, I guess, so I lose friends easily. So all that to say, I don't have a lot of help. And of course, a lot of people, they have their parents' help, but my dad is 80 and he's a dad, so, you know, he insists that he doesn't know what to do, like men like to do. And my mom passed away, so she can't help, obviously. And honestly, even if she were still around, I don't think she'd be all that helpful. I think she'd just be a little judgy of my spending and my like personal choices. Love my mom, but we have entirely different views on that sort of stuff. And she was just very proud of the fact that she like planned her whole wedding by herself and like didn't spend any money on it. And like, I'm okay with spending a little money, but we're still on a budget, right? Anyway, all of that to say, I have finally gotten to the point where I have kind of wrapped up most of my wedding planning stuff. Like most of it is done. We're pretty much ready to go. Yeah, at least all of the big things are out of the way. So I just thought we would go over some of the things that I've gone through, the things that I found to be really stressful and that kind of just went horribly wrong for me, and what I would have done differently, and kind of advice that I would give to anyone that's in the same position, advice that I would give to you if you're in the same position. And yeah, some of the things that went well, and just, yeah, general advice of if you are a girl out there who doesn't have a lot of help, who is kind of doing the wedding planning on their own for the most part, let's just chat about it and I can give you a little idea of, you know, what can go wrong, what can go right, things to look out for, and I know it's all going to work out and it's all going to be a great day. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of rant about all of these things that have been driving me crazy, as well as, you know, give a little helpful advice. So let's get into it. So I know I kind of ranted at the beginning there about not having a lot of help. And the thing is that everyone is going to want to help. Like obviously, if you're having a wedding, you have a lot of people who care about you and you care about and you want to have on your wedding day. Otherwise, you'd be eloping, you wouldn't be getting married, you just, you know, be with your person, right? But obviously if you're having a wedding, you want to have all of your closest friends and family there, and like maybe you want to be pampered and have everyone pay attention to you. Like I know I want that. I'm like, yeah, it's all about me, guys, come on, let's pay attention to me for once. All right. You can tell that I'm an attention seeker a little bit, maybe. But anyway, I think everyone will want to help, but not everyone's going to be all that helpful. Like I said, a lot of my family is very far away, not really able to give hands-on help, and oftentimes, even when they want to help, it's kind of like, all right, well, if you want to help, I have to tell you step by step the process of what I want you to do and how to do it so that you know how to do it. Because most people are afraid that they're going to mess something up, right? They're like, oh, you have to give me exact perfect instructions so I don't mess mess up your big special day. And right, I mean, you don't want any mistakes to happen, but also it's not any less stressful to have to hold someone's hand along the whole way and tell them, okay, do this, okay, now do this, okay, now, because at that point you might as well be doing it all yourself, which is kind of the problem I've run into a lot. Is like my in-laws really want to help, they really want to contribute, but you know, they're all the way across the country, so they can't exactly like run over and come look at dresses with me. They can't like pick stuff out for me. They can do research, they can look into things for me, but they can't exactly like pick stuff out for me. Maybe they can make phone calls, but even then it's like they don't have all the information, you know. So I've been doing a lot of stuff by myself. Lots of research, lots of help in that area. My sister-in-law has been planning the bachelorette party. She's been great. Mother-in-law has been helping financially and contributing ideas and like making Pinterest boards and all sorts of things like that. She's been amazing. Lots of other people have offered, and then, you know, they forget. Because, you know, it's not their day. Like, of course, you know, it's gonna slip from their mind. They have their own lives, they have their own things going on, and it's perfectly okay. I do not expect anyone to like do everything for me. As nice as that would be, like, I know a lot of people just have their parents plan everything and do everything for them. Like, wow, that sounds amazing. But over here, we're making it work on our own. We're independent ladies, you know what I mean? And I'm working on a budget. I don't have all the money in the world. I don't want to spend so much money or go into debt over a party. Okay, that's all this is. It's a party. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I've just been more focused on making sure I have the core things that I want, that I get to have a little fun, that I get to spoil myself and spoil my future husband and my family and friends, and yeah, that's it. That's all I want, right? Let's talk wedding planning. I've always wanted a beautiful wedding. I've had a Pinterest board for forever. One of the things I found out pretty quickly is that all the things on my Pinterest board are, well, they were either crazy fucking expensive and not worth it, or not at all my taste. Like, actually, like, for example, my Pinterest board for the longest time was just covered in mermaid dresses, mermaid wedding dresses. The first dress that I tried on was a mermaid dress, and I absolutely hated it. Like, anything bodycon, I was just kind of like, ew. And I really thought that I would like a bodycon like dress, but no, just not flattering on me. I think it's because I don't have a big chest. I like still have an hourglass shape, but it's very petite, so A-line dresses look a lot nicer on me, which is what I ended up going with. Sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but anyway, now that I'm at the point where I'm done planning, I just want to go over what went well and what went horribly wrong, and I already said that. All I was trying to say there, I kind of lost my train of thought, is that most of the things that I had anticipated in my mind or like fantasized about or whatever, not even close to what we're doing, and it's perfectly fine, so like don't be upset if that's what happens to you. Like, totally normal. I think our expectations get really raised, you know, especially because of social media, because of film. Like, I know I personally have been influenced by a lot of movies, seeing a lot of romance movies with big fancy weddings, and like that's just not possible for everyone, but that doesn't mean your wedding can't be beautiful. But anyway, I've always wanted like a big fancy wedding, but also I don't have a lot of people in my life, so it was never gonna be all that big to begin with, and like I said, I just don't want to spend all that much money. So I'm going for a very small, elegant, beautiful wedding, and that's exactly what I've done so far. So with that said, let's go over all the things that have gone well for me so far. First of all, I would like to say I am so grateful that I have had so much time to plan. I think in general it's pretty common for people to have 6 months to a year to plan their wedding. When we were first engaged, we got engaged in July of 2024, and originally I wanted to get married in June of 2025, and I'm so glad that we didn't do that, because if I think I'm stressed now, like imagine what it would have been like if I had given myself less time. Like, oh my god, I'm so glad that, yeah, I didn't do that. So tip number one right off the bat, like, give yourself so much time, like more than you think you need. Like, it's totally okay. Save up the money, like spend time with each other, enjoy each other's company, like just don't stress, and you'll have so much more time to pick out things carefully. And one of the first things that I picked out was the wedding dress. That was probably the thing I was most excited about, and the thing that I was willing to spend more money on. I wouldn't say the most money. I didn't actually spend that much money on it. I think I spent $1,600. And so what we did was, for my birthday, well, first of all, I I shopped around quite a bit in town, but I live in a really dinky town with only 2 wedding dress stores, and they were both pretty like lame. And most of the dresses were very oversized. Like I think the average size they had was a 16, so they really had to like clip it back on me, and like it just did not give a great impression of what it was actually going to look like. But then yeah, I just didn't love a lot of the dresses, especially for the prices. Like I don't think I tried on a single dress that was less than $2,000. And I just wasn't in love with any of them. So what we ended up doing was for my birthday, we took a trip to Denver, and there was a wedding dress store there called Vowed, which is like a sister store of Altered State, which is one of my favorite clothing stores just in general. And so we went to Vowed, which was so cute. Like I fell in love with the place immediately. It has such a fun vibe. All the women there were super nice, like super helpful, especially the girl Paige who helped me put on my dress and try all the dresses and everything. And yeah, that's where we ended up finding my dress. They didn't have it in my size at the time, so we had to pre-order it, and that was all pretty simple. The only problem that came along the way was, so I pre-ordered it, I paid for it, so I paid $1,700 plus shipping, and then and it was supposed to arrive in like August, right? And I paid for that in like late March. And then sometime in like maybe June, I got a notification that I had like a refund of $1,700, and I was like, what? And it was a refund for my dress, and I like freaked out, and I contacted them through email, and I was like, hey, what's going on here? And they were like, oh, we didn't have your size, so we refunded you. And yeah. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I still want my wedding dress, so are you going to send me another one? And I don't remember exactly what happened, but eventually we figured it out, and they were like, we're so sorry that's happened. It'll get there in October now, but here, have 10% off. So it was like $1,600 with no shipping instead, which was very nice. So definitely advocate for yourself and like tell people like, hey, what the fuck, do your job. I have learned that over and over and over again during this whole experience. Like you just have to keep up with people, because a lot of people will make mistakes. It's unfortunate, but it's true. This is just like too big of an industry, and things fall through the cracks, and yeah, you just have to keep up with people. So yeah, but it worked out. My dress was delivered. It's beautiful. I've been keeping it in my closet, which has been a struggle because my cats just want to sit on it, but I don't really have anywhere else to put it, and it's so long and so heavy. But you know, I tried it on. It fits. It looks gorgeous. I'm super excited about it. I'll put up my little video of it that I have trying it on at Vowed. But yeah, that was a pretty good experience. Nothing went horribly wrong, and I had a lot of fun trying on pretty dresses. That's definitely one of the more fun parts of getting married, for sure. Next, I would say flowers went along pretty smoothly. That was something that I was really nervous about because I just did not know what I wanted for flowers. But I found an online website. Originally, I was thinking of like doing DIY or like shipping flowers, but it's like just as expensive as getting a florist. So I found this like national florist who will contact local florists in your area and assemble stuff for you and deliver it for you. And yeah, it ended up being more expensive than I wanted it to be, but that's just how weddings go. I still didn't spend as much as I could have, I'm sure. I think a lot of people spend in like the 5,000 area, and I spent like 2,000, so I'm not too mad about that. And I got everything that I wanted. I got a really pretty bouquet. I got some centerpieces. I got bridesmaid bouquets. Yeah, we got a lot of cute things, and I'm excited to see them. I guess that's kind of, you know, a drawback, is I don't get to see them until they arrive, but I'm not worried about it. Worst case scenario, I'll go fucking to Michael's and buy a bunch of fake flowers. I don't care at this point. I just want to get married, you know. But yeah, the ladies there have been super helpful with everything, and they have like this whole system for like contacting if you need to update stuff. And yeah, it's just been really easy. I don't know why I was so stressed about it. Mostly money. It's always money. The next thing that went really well was my photographer. Another thing that I was super stressed about, because I've been working as a wedding videographer myself, and I've worked with a lot of sketchy photographers. Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who just think photography is easy and they can just run out there and do whatever and it'll work. And it's like, no, you're actually kind of ruining someone's special day that they paid a lot of money for. So I was really nervous about that, especially because we're getting married out of the area, you know, out of my hometown in another state. So I just don't know anyone over there, but our venue recommended a photographer, and just right off the bat, I was like, oh my god, I love this guy. You know, I had a whole list of questions and I asked him my questions, and then he was like, is there anything else? And I was like, well, I don't know. And he was like, well, here, let me give you a few things that you know, I think are important to know. And he like answered questions I didn't even know I had, right? Like he mentioned Washington has sales tax, right? And Montana doesn't have sales tax. So he was like, some photographers, just so you know, might charge you sales tax on top of like the regular fee. I just want to let you know that I don't do that. But if you decide to go with someone else, you might want to know that they could do that. So you'll want to ask questions like that. And yeah, I just thought it was really cool that he was being upfront about things that I legitimately might not have known about, which obviously I didn't know that. And so that was really helpful. And I appreciated the honesty right off the bat. And that's something that I've learned with vendors in general, is just feeling really comfortable with them right off the bat is so important. Like you have to click with them in one way or another right off the bat, otherwise they're probably not the person for you. I felt that when picking out a cake as well. That's another thing that went really well. We went to 2 cake tasting places, and the first one, it was just really awkward. Like I got the impression that the girl had never like done a tasting before. It was just kind of, yeah, sad and awkward, and she didn't really talk to us and stuff. But then in our second cake tasting place, the lady was so excited, and she was like, yeah, we get to eat cake today, and she was like, here are all the things you get to try, and like mix and match, and like here are all the things we can do, all these crazy things. Like I'm gonna leave you alone while you eat, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it. And like the girl at the first place, she just like sat there and watched us eat, and it's like we couldn't even like talk about it because it was just awkward, you know. The second lady, it was like, oh my god, this is great. Plus also the cake tasted a lot better at the second place, honestly. But yeah, I think connecting with people right off the bat is really important. And to go back to my photographer, it was just like, okay, it's obvious that you're knowledgeable and you're confident about it, because I talked to a couple of other photographers and they were just kind of like, yeah, I shoot photos, and yeah, I mean, what do you want? And it's like, well, I kind of want you to like make some, like have some artistic direction. Like I want you to tell me what you can do, and I'll tell you if that aligns with what I want. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's get to the more chaotic part and talk about the stuff that did not go so well for me. First of all, hair and makeup. I've already made a video about my hair and makeup disaster if you're interested, but to give you the Spark Notes version of it, I like was desperately trying to find a place in Washington that would let me have like a trial beforehand, right? And a lot of people would do hair but not makeup, or makeup not hair, and a lot of people would give you a trial but only if you already booked them or if you paid for the trial like ahead of time. And it was like a lot of money for the trials. It would be like, okay, well, if you give us $150 for the trial, but we'll only book that, you know, a month before your wedding. And I was just like, I cannot like do that a month before my wedding and find out you suck, right? And so I found one place that would give me a free hair and makeup trial. We like planned a whole trip over to Washington for it. I didn't even bring makeup with me on the trip because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get all glammed up and beautiful. And so we went there. She made us wait a little bit, which is never fun. I don't know. The place was really cute, but she kind of just walks up to us and goes, time for a makeup trial, right? And it's like, yep. He was like, okay, well, what do you want? I'm like, I don't know, look pretty. I'm not quite sure. I was like, I'm not quite sure what I want. There are a couple of things that I like the half up, half down. I really like my hair to be curly. I've looked at a lot of braids. But yeah, I just don't really know what, you know, would make my features stand out best. So if you could help me figure that out, that'd be great. And she just took that as, okay, you want a half up, half down with a braid in it. And she gave me that, and it was just really flat and boring. And she kept insisting that I needed hair extensions in order to make it look better. And that the hair extensions would cost like $1,000 or $2,000 or something like that on top of everything else. And I was just like, oh, okay. And like it looked okay, but it also took her like an hour and a half to just put a braid in my hair. And like my hair was already curly, you know, when I came in, like it is today. It was just kind of like this, and she like brushed it out again and like flat iron curled it, and so it looked so flat in comparison. And then she just threw the braid in there, and it was such a thick, weird, like kind of fishtail braid, and it just made my hair look thin and not voluminous. Like my hair looks great right now. It looks better today than it did at that trial, and all I did was wake up and brush my hair. So that was disappointing. And then when she did the makeup, I showed her, I'll put the picture up. I showed her this photo with just like a very light pink, sparkly, like ethereal look with a black liner. She put like one little glob of foundation on my cheek and went, "Is that the right color?" I go, "Yeah." And then she didn't do anything else with it. She didn't prep my eyes or anything. And then she just like put a whole bunch of, it was pretty dark reddish, like maroonish eyeshadow all around. And then she used brown pencil liner on my eyes. And she like brushed my eyebrows and she didn't do anything else. That was it. And so I just had like some reddish eyeshadow on. And then I was like, well, that wasn't like quite as pink as I wanted it, because I wanted it like a light, very light blushy pink, like baby pink, you know, and it was just so dark. Then she tried again and it just came out like more purplish, and at that point I was just like, nah, I'm good. Like she didn't even put on mascara or anything, and she like even brought out false lashes, like wispies clusters, you know, and she didn't even put them on. She was like, "Do you want these?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she didn't do anything with them. It's like, I don't know if she was running out of time or something, but it's like, could you at least say something about it? I don't know. But yeah, I left and took my, like, we went to our Airbnb and I just took the makeup off, and I was like, well, shit, this sucks. And we were gonna have a date night, and I was looking forward to being like all glam and pretty for the date night, but I had to go out without makeup because I didn't bring any, because I thought I was getting professional makeup done. So that was really disappointing. I gave her like a $50 tip, even though I probably shouldn't have given her anything. And she was just like, "Yeah, just let me know as soon as possible when you want to book." And I was like, "I'll let you know." And then she like immediately sent me an email like asking to review her, and I still haven't done it because like I don't know what to say besides like, went in for a bridal trial, I didn't like it, I cried, sorry. I don't know. I know I shouldn't be sorry, but like, damn, dude. And like, I couldn't even put into words what I didn't like about it, because it was just, everything was bad. I was just like, it's bad. It's bad. I can do better. And I've had that experience a lot with makeup artists where I've gone in expecting something glam and they just like do weird everyday makeup that does not look good on me. And it's like, isn't it kind of your job to understand what looks good on different facial features? Like what colors look good on different skin types, on, you know, different colors, whatever. And then just to go away with something like I could have done in middle school. I probably did better in middle school, honestly, like not to sound full of myself, but it's just like, I don't know, but I've just gotten to the point where I'm doing my own makeup for my wedding. Like my makeup looks really nice today and it didn't take me long at all. And yeah, I mean, I think the main thing with the hair and makeup is I really wish I had taken a little more time to shop around and look around, which I started looking right away. It was just so hard to find a trial, like I said, and I was really insistent on having that trial because there was no way I was going to like put a down payment on an artist, have a trial a month or two before my wedding, and then find out they suck and I can't get a refund. Like, no. So I just have, you know, I have some friends coming and family members who are good at makeup, and they'll be able to help me, and they'll help me touch up throughout the day. And, you know, I think even if my makeup isn't the best, it's gonna be better than what someone else would have done. Or even if it isn't, like, at least I'm not spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for one day worth of makeup and hair. Like, I already look pretty, I already feel pretty. My boyfriend obviously thinks I'm gorgeous. Like, all my friends and family think I'm gorgeous. It's gonna be great. So I'm not worried about it. We're gonna figure it out. But I do wish I had spent more time looking into that, because maybe I could have found someone, and that would have been nice. But also, I do think it's important that, like, I didn't click with the makeup artist right away. I think I would have had, like, I obviously didn't feel like I could tell her, hey, I don't like this. Like, we didn't have a connection in any way. And, you know, I have a hairstylist at home, and I adore him. Like, he is the nicest human on earth, and he does a fantastic job with my hair every time. He always makes me feel good about myself, and it's like, that's how it should be. When someone is helping you feel your best, look your best, they should genuinely feed into your ego a little bit, right? Like, they should be excited for you and help you be excited, because it's hard being vulnerable and being like, I want to look good, I want to look better, how do I achieve that? And I think it's important to have someone be like, well, here are your features that are really great and beautiful, and I want to like bring those out and like your vision come true. And yeah, I just didn't get that with the lady that I saw in Washington, so that was unfortunate, but we're moving along. So The last thing I want to talk about is probably the worst experience that I've gone through so far. So the very first thing that we got out of the way, which I suggest that everyone who's planning a wedding does, is we got the venue picked out right away. So when I was looking for venues, I originally was looking around in Montana, but a lot of things in Montana were so expensive, like outrageously expensive. Like it would be someone's barn in their backyard and they would provide chairs and that would be it. And it'd be $10,000 in the middle of nowhere with like no hotels nearby to stay at. Or like there's a venue nearby that's like a very beautiful old mansion, but there's no parking. Also no hotels still nearby. And it's like $10,000 and that doesn't include food. So we got engaged at the Davenport in Spokane. Yeah, so we got engaged at the Davenport in Spokane, which is this gorgeous historic hotel. And I've been going there for a long time with family. And so it's a special place. Like I know Spokane isn't like the most gorgeous place in the world. It's kind of gross, honestly. But the hotel is so beautiful. It's worth it. And it turned out like as bougie as it looks and feels, it's really not that expensive, especially for one of the smaller ballrooms. And I really love the like elegance vintage vibe. And I think that really goes well with just us as a couple. So I was really excited to find out, oh hey, this venue is actually like pretty doable. And they like include a lot of stuff with it. Like they have food packages. And the main thing is that they include like not a wedding planner, but a venue coordinator that helps you. Like they give you a list of preferred vendors. They help you with any questions you have about planning. They take care of all your vendors the day of. They help you pick out your food. Like they're just there for you in a lot of ways that a wedding planner is. So that was like just a really cool feature of it. So we booked the venue pretty much right away. Really excited about it. The lady that gave us a tour of all of the facilities was amazing. Loved her. And I thought she was going to be like our venue coordinator, but I want to say like in October, November, sometime around there, they were like, hey, we're going to introduce you to your venue coordinator. And we were like, okay, cool. And it was some girl and she said like hi once, and then like a week later they were like, oh, she's no longer working with us, we'll let you know who the next girl is. And we were like, okay, we didn't even meet the first one, but okay. And so then a couple weeks later they're like, okay, this is your new venue coordinator, she's gonna help you if you have any questions, ask her. And I didn't have anything at the time, so I was just like, hi, nice to meet you, let's talk on the phone sometime, yay. And like every time we went to Spokane I was like, hey, we're gonna be in Spokane, if you'd like to meet in person just let me know. And there was one time where I did that and she was like, yeah, let's meet. And I was like, okay, what time works for you? And she was like, I can do any time on Saturday. And I was like, okay, how about 9? And then she never answered me. So I didn't meet her that time. And then as we were just getting further along in planning, one of the things we've been most excited about is the food. We're really big on food. We love going out to eat all the time. And the Davenport generally has pretty good food. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but I like it. And so I wanted to get that pretty much out of the way because it's also one of the bigger expenses in wedding planning, like especially if you're planning on having a large amount of guests. I'm only having like 40 or less, so it's not going to be crazy. But I wanted to like have a guesstimate of how much I'm going to be spending and what we're going to be spending it on, right? So I was like, hey, when can we schedule the food tasting? And I asked this girl, I asked the venue coordinator about planning a tasting in like early December, like the first week of December. I didn't hear back from her until mid-January. I remember it was January 16th. She messages me and she says, hey, so we usually have like a group tasting where you get to try pretty much all of the food, and our next one is going to be on February 2nd. And I was just like, okay. Oh, and she told me, if you want to attend, you have to RSVP by January 19th. And it was the 16th. And I was like, okay, well, I can't plan a whole trip and take time off work and have my boyfriend take time off work and figure all that shit out in 2 days. So we're not gonna make it. Also, February 2nd was on a Sunday. And I was just like, I work on Sunday, Vincent works on Sunday, and we would have to like drive all the way up there on Saturday or Sunday, eat I think the tasting was at like 2 for some reason. So eat at 2 in February and then not be done until 3 or 4. And then drive home to Montana in the dark, like a 4-hour drive, so we wouldn't get home until like 9 o'clock because you gain an hour, or lose an hour, whatever, on the way back, right, because of the time difference. So we would get home at like 9 o'clock and then have to work at 6 o'clock in the morning. No thank you. So I was really just fucking annoyed by that, and I was just like, okay, well, Miss Venue Coordinator, we're not going to make that. Please let me know when the next one is, and please let me know as soon as possible so we can actually like plan. We live out of state. We can't just, get over there at the anytime you want. And then she replied back to me a week later and said, "Thank you for RSVPing to our event on February 2nd. We can't wait to get all of your food tasting done." And I was like, oh, you didn't even fucking read my email, did you? So I had to contact her boss and be like, hey, this lady is clearly not listening to me. I've never even spoken to her on the phone. I've tried to meet her, but like she's not listening to me. We need to figure something out because this is not working. I live out of state. I cannot be stressing about this much. Okay? You're like supposed to be helping me, not making this so much worse. And so then her boss like calls me while I'm at work, so I can't answer the phone. And she leaves me a voicemail that's like, hey, call me back and we'll figure all this stuff out. Call her back. Never hear back from her. But we do eventually get like a private food tasting figured out with the original venue coordinator, and she like sends an apology which was like riddled with spelling errors and grammar errors, which was not like inspiring confidence. Like she was like, I'm sorry, but I will make sure that this happens again. It's like, okay, you didn't even proofread your apology, very cool. Like I know mistakes happen, but like, geez, dude. And so after that whole fiasco, we finally get a food tasting for just the two of us scheduled. We pick out a couple of things on the menu that we want to try. And so on April 3rd, so earlier this month, we went to the food taste. Well, she says that the food tasting is like at 11 at the Davenport. So we go to the Davenport. And we're there like early, and she's like, I'll be there at 10:45, don't worry. We're there at like 10:45. She's nowhere to be seen. And we run into another lady who's working there, and we're like, hey, we're supposed to be meeting this girl, haven't seen her yet, what's up? And so that lady that we met in the Davenport, she calls our venue coordinator, and she's like, hey, they're waiting for you, like, what's up? And so she tries to figure it all out for us, but then I guess it turns out that our venue coordinator told us to go to the wrong hotel. For some reason, our food tasting was at a different hotel, even though we were at the place we were going to get married where the food is going to be. They prepped the food at a different hotel. So we had to run over a couple of blocks. We ended up there late, but we eventually found her. It took forever because we could not find the fucking front door of this hotel. Like, we tried 3 different doors, they were all locked, and then we finally found it on like the weird side of the building, but whatever. We finally found her. We got in for our tasting, and she was just a chatterbox the whole time. Like, she was talking about herself like basically the whole time, which was kind of weird. Like, we didn't get a word in. She's just like, I love this food, I love doing this stuff, and oh, my family's from this place, and like I went to school here, and I've been doing this for a long time, and like and the food was pretty good. It was a little cold because we were late, but not their fault. We made some changes here and there. They had some drinks for us, which were good. But yeah, she was just a chatterbox, and we were just kind of like, nah, I think we're good. I think we know what we want, and like we're good to go. Like, can this meeting be over? We want to like go have a weekend. And like she was pretty nice and everything, and like I liked her well enough, but it's still just like, I don't trust you, lady. But yeah, the best part is that the other day I got an email from her boss saying that she is no longer working for the Davenport. And so the boss is now my venue coordinator, which I guess is good, but also just like, wow, dude. Whew. I mean, we have our food picked out, we're gonna have it paid for, it's gonna be great. It's just like, holy shit, dude, people cannot do their jobs. And I guess that's just part of planning a wedding, is that you're just going to run into people who are paid too much to do a job they do not understand. That's just the way the world works. But yeah, I just wanted to rant about that and give you some insight into some of the things that can go wrong when wedding planning. Hopefully they won't go wrong for you, but at least you'll know what to plan for. I think the key takeaways are give yourself plenty of fucking time, like way more time than you think you'll need. Like the time goes by so fast, you have a busy life, things are gonna get in the way, you're gonna need to save up money for something else and not want to pay for a wedding expense. Like just give yourself extra time. It'll be okay. You're still with your person, you're still gonna marry your person. Like time is good. Another key takeaway, I would say just be specific with help. Like if anyone's going to help you, you have to tell them exactly what you want. Otherwise, they're going to be too scared to do it. Say, hey, I want these exact flowers. I need, I don't know, begonias that are baby pink and dusty rose and have no leaves on them, I don't know, and are wrapped in silk. I don't fucking know. But just be so specific. Another key takeaway is just to bug people. Like with my wedding dress and with my vendors, my venue coordinator, just being like, hey, I'm paying you a lot of money. Please do your job. Can go a long way. You can get discounts, you can get extra help. I mean, and most of all, things are actually going to get done right and on time if you're firm and assertive. Like, obviously don't be a bitch about it, but also don't worry about being a bridezilla or whatever. Just say, hey, dude, I need this done. It hasn't happened yet. Either tell me what we can do to make it happen or just make it happen. I would also say don't settle. Like I said, there were a lot of vendors and people that I met with where I was just like, the vibes are not right. If you feel that way, just keep looking. It'll be okay. Don't settle for someone just because they're affordable or, I'm not settling for doing my own makeup. I think settling would have been going with that girl even though she did a bad job because it was affordable and she gave me the trial, right? No. The important thing is to say, you know what I want and I'm gonna get it for a fair price and I'm not gonna stress about it. So just don't find people that you like to work with. That's important. You're going to be working with these people for a while. At the very least, you're going to be working with them on a day that's very stressful and shouldn't be. Okay. And then of course, the most important thing, the only thing that matters is love. You're going to be marrying the person that you love most, the person that loves you most. You're going to be starting a wonderful life together. And no matter what goes wrong, no matter what goes right, no matter, the things you forgot, the things that got lost along the way, it doesn't matter because you get to marry the person that you love and you get to be with the people who love you most and they get to see you be happy. And in the end, that's all that really matters. You don't need to have a big fancy wedding. You don't need to spend a shit ton of money. You don't need to go into debt. You don't need anything but your person. So just be happy that you found each other in this crazy world, man. With that, I'm going to leave it. Let me know what your wedding struggles were, if any. If you're having any wedding planning issues of your own, I would love to give you some advice, kind of let you know what's helped me throughout all of this mess. I'll give you a little more, but yeah, those key takeaways are important and they've gotten me through a lot, and just remembering that I get to marry my best friend is what's really keeping me together through all of this, and nothing else matters. So that's gonna be it for today. Yeah, good stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I don't think there is. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.